What's up, everybody? Welcome to Strength Solutions Podcast. We're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and view us. Leave a comment on YouTube and hit that subscribe right now. I'm going to pausing. I think, did you hit it? All right, cool. Then our website is strengthsolutionspodcast.com. strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us future fitness questions or some topic that you want us to talk about, because we're all knowing.
Oh, yeah.
And then also our social media, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram is Strength Solutions Podcast. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
So before we go on to the topic, bro, I love reading the comments because there's one that we did about the nanny, and like in UK you can make money for daycare, right? And the guy was like, this guy just doesn't understand what like nannies cost. Yes, I do. But if you actually like listen to the podcast, I talk about like spreading it out or getting in a community and purchasing one nanny for like 8 people. It's just funny how people look at a clip on Instagram and they think they know everything, or they assume that they know somebody.
You know, I mean, in a way, I guess it's good engagement, just because it gets people talking. But it is funny. And it makes you think, right, about how many other things are out there where all you see is a clip and you make this whole, idea or story behind what you think it is and all this stuff, and you want to call them out. And, both of you and I constantly kind of say like one of the main things for people is that you just want to feel right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it comes down to. You just want to sit there and be like, ha, gotcha. Yeah. Called you out.
And so they had the events the other day with Charlie Kirk, and it's a sad thing. And empathy around for that, the school shooting, everything like that. It's only human to be empathy. But my thing is, when anything happens to anyone or athletes and people are like, this was a good man and stuff like that. I don't know if he was a good man. I don't know him personally. I don't know if LeBron James is a good man. I don't know if Obama was a good person. Like, I don't know them. They could be like wife beaters or whatever. Like, I think we need to go back into our communities, help build up our own communities, like us building up San Antonio, helping throughout. I think this whole nationalism is killing left and right, killing people. The wanting to be right we were talking about. And I think we need to just bring ourselves back together.
That's the hope. Maybe one day we'll be back into, well, I don't know, were we ever together as a society? I'm not sure. I know we've been more together. I can say that at least.
I could say on one day there was on 9/11.
Yeah, right. That's the day where the nation comes together. It's unfortunate that it's for a position of mourning, right? But I think that's all something that we can come together as.
I think we just need to stop attacking each other right and left and wanting to be right when they have you looking right and left when you should be looking up and down. Ooh. Right. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go. We'll leave it.
All right. So there was this Reddit post, and on this Reddit post, they were asking, how come all nutritionist food, even though we need nutrition, tastes horrible?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, easy. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
Because back then, calories were scarce. Mm. So because calories scarce, you want sugar, salt, fat. Those are high caloric foods, something you want to consume so that way you can survive. Mm. Broccoli is not a priority when you're starving. Right. And I think people forget how people lived in the past. We either glorify it, like we're like, let's look at the medieval times, right? Like, I know you do a little Renaissance fair. Look at me, I'm here, I'm Nathaniel.
If I go back, all I'm drinking is mead. That's all I want. I'm dying in 2 days.
We glorify when these people were dying at age 30.
Right, yeah. Right? From like horrible, terrible diseases, by the way.
Horrible, terrible diseases, starvation, poisonous, like poison in the water, right? Like just dying, right? Bacteria in there. So our goal was, as humans, was to chase calories. That's why a lot of people are like, they're like meat, right? They want fatty cuts. Why do they taste better than the lean cuts?
Right.
They've done like, I think it's Afraid in the Dark, or I can't remember the show, but they're like out there camping. I can't remember the name of it.
Is it like
Naked and Afraid?
Oh, yeah.
So they're out there and there'd be people hunting and then they're like, oh, I'm getting this like moose, super lean. And then they would have to pull them from the show because there's not enough fat and calories to survive.
Yeah, I think I read a story once where this guy had been stranded, out in the forest for some time, and he had been eating rabbits, and he died with like an abundance of rabbit meat. But it wasn't providing all of the nutrients that he needed because rabbit is so lean and so small. There's no fat, there's obviously no carbs, right? And even though he had an abundance of food, he was still starving because he wasn't getting what he needed in terms of all of that. I think it's another point too, why, talking to clients who have relationships with foods that are difficult, it's like, it's built into the human mind, right? To receive a high reward from eating high fat food, high calorie food, dense, food like that. And it's hard to one day just be like, all right, I'm just not going to eat that anymore. Chicken and rice and broccoli, that's all for me now. It's like, you're already sort of built to not really enjoy that. Right. And then now you've had processed foods and things like this for so long that your brain is so used to it. So it's no wonder that when you suddenly restrict yourself or cut back on everything that you're like, jonesing for the next high fat calorie processed food.
Yeah. And that's why it leads to people like, I'm going to do really well in my fitness journey, broccoli, rice and chicken, broccoli, rice and chicken, broccoli, rice. And then all of a sudden their body just like overturns. I crave this overnight. And then they don't adhere to their diet.
Yeah.
Because they go too extreme. And so that's why if you do have trouble with the processed food, set a boundary. That's like rule number one we talk about is don't bring it in your house. If you really want yours is chips, you're like, I'm going to go buy the small chip at the store. I'm going to go drive to it. That's a boundary I think you've used, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I've used the boundary where I'm going to walk around the block and if I really want it, I'll go back and get it.
Sure.
Right? So setting these boundaries are probably like the number one thing. So I had a talk recently with a client. And Tuesday and Thursday were their like hard days. They're like really long. They do have a gap in the middle of the day, but eating, it's very hard. And when they get home, they're super hungry. And I was like, well, you could set a boundary on those days and say, if your wife is going to cook or whatever, that put a plate out there. That's all I can eat for that night and set that rule aside that I can't have anything but this plate. It's about this many ounces. That way you don't overconsume, but set a rule. And I was like, with the rule for me when I'm on a cut, which Nathaniel's going to start seeing this energy level dip, is win the weekends. And I say win the weekends because that's my weakness is on the weekend. I'm like, well, let's just go have this. Whatever. Let's just go have that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I need to be diligent. Okay. I'm going to go out to eat. I'm not going to have the fries. I'm going to still have the chicken sandwich, maybe even double my meat. And that way I could still enjoy out. Now that's how I start. And then as I get more, I have to be more detailed in what I'm going to cut as I go along.
Yeah. At some point you're going to have to get more dialed in and stuff like that, depending on your goal. But, I was having a conversation with a client the other day. She's kind of taking medication to help with weight loss and stuff like that. And I was like, if you go out and, you're still really craving something, it's cool. Get the cheeseburger, but, maybe you remove the bun, so you're just eliminating that. Or if you go out and you're going to get full really fast, then the first thing that you better be eating is the protein, right? If you're still hungry, if you still can fit more, then sure, you can have the carbs or whatever it else is, but you're just going to have to focus on this aspect of it for the time being because, with medication and stuff like that, it really reduces your appetite. So the amount of food that you're going to get isn't anywhere near as much as you would previously. So just learning how to manage your weekends, manage your times out, whether you're on medication, whether you're on a cut, or whether you're in a bulk too, right?
Yeah. And then other broader problems is just food is abundant. And so not just setting boundaries, but what foods are actually real foods that would be seen in normal society back then? I think that's a big thing too, because we see these processed bars and stuff like that. I would argue if you take away a lot of processed food and try to stay mostly with whole foods, without even calorie counting, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
Right. Just try to eat meat, eat some rice and stuff like that. It's going to be really hard to just overeat. And so I'll give you a perfect example. Try to eat a baked potato without salt.
Oh God.
right? Add the salt, you can start in butter, you can start eating it. Then you process a little bit more, right? Adding a little bit more. That's not really processing.
Cheese,
That's adding
some sour
flavor,
cream.
right? It's easier to eat more. I can eat 2 of those now, right?
Oh yeah.
Then I go into like, now the next step is I'm going to have French fries or mashed potatoes. Then you can eat like 5 potatoes. Then you can have chips like this guy and go through like 7 potatoes. You've done it.
Easy, baby. Easy. Easy work.
And so understand like how your food is processed. I'm not saying you can't have chips.
That was a really good example.
Have a boundary.
Yeah, because I remember reading one time, like it was like, if you go to a Mexican restaurant and you get, they bring you a basket of chips and salsa and stuff like that. They're like, 4 chips is a whole tortilla. You're probably going to smash like 10 tortillas before you even started eating, and then you're like, oh, fuck. Like that's a lot of calories,
But people don't think like that, right?
But you don't, right?
You're like, this is just a chip.
It's salty. It's got fat. It's fried, all that stuff. And you're putting salsa on it, all these things. But yeah, it's like, that's a lot.
Yeah. And it's just, again, understanding it's not bad for you. How do I limit it? When do I do it? And today we just need more planning.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So try to come up with a plan. We're just so busy. Things are happening. And you just need a plan.
That's a plan.
Yeah. And then Nathaniel over here sends me a controversial like fitness thing.
I'm always
with Mr. Dysfunctional Patterns. Is your training making you dysfunctional?
Yeah. Was this about the range of motion?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're talking about a research article, I think that just came out, that showed that if you do just like the bottom half, I think, of a bicep curl, that you get more hypertrophy or whatever, which is funny because even when I was initially looking at it, I was like, more hypertrophy compared to what?
Full range of motion.
Full range of motion? Is it just doing
probably because you do more reps?
The top half of the bicep curl? I don't know. But yeah, it probably is because you could do more reps. Maybe at that position you can even load more, right? Or something like that. But he was talking and he was like, you're training dysfunction, right? If you're doing something like that, because your body is meant to move through an entirety of a range of motion. Each angle and joint has its, normative values depending on your anatomy and stuff like that. And then it begs the question, right? Like, okay, is that really better, right, than doing an entire, full range of motion bicep curl? And it's crazy because things come out like this. And it's funny. I don't know if you ever notice it. Like you see it on TikTok or Instagram and you see these big influencers and then you go to the gym the next day. And like you kind of see people that are doing it and you're like, oh my God, and it's like, you probably go up to someone and be like, hey, what are you doing? And it's, oh, I heard, this is the best way to build muscle, the bicep curl. And
the funny thing,
go ahead. Yeah.
The funny thing is it works.
It does.
And it works because it's a new stimulus. Mm-hmm. So I'll just talk about there's a study that we're to read later, but might as well just bring it now. It was an isometric exercise. And they talked about it built up muscle.
Yeah.
And it's like anything else. These studies are 8 to 10 weeks. And I just really want to get this like over with because people cannot understand there's not somebody following a bodybuilder their entire career.
Yeah.
And it's 8 weeks and they're like, oh, this works. How many times have we gone through our workout now career and try something new? Be like, oh man, this must be something new. Oh, this really works or that really works. The new stimulus matters. Now, if you want to specialize, lift like a bodybuilder. There's not this special technique that's going to kill you. I mean, these guys are getting big. Sometimes you just got to push yourself close to failure.
Yeah.
And you got to eat right. And that's just good. Genetics play a role. There's so many things. And I think we're just, in the science community, we really try to like separate like one thing.
Yeah. And sometimes I think
life is complex.
Too deep, like the other day, one of my clients was telling me about a video that he had seen with Jeff Nippard.
Oh, Jeffy.
Yeah. And it was like
Mr. Science.
Dr. Mike and I think Jeff like were in a video together and Mike was telling him about, like rear delt flies on a cable where you kind of cross them over and you pull back. And Jeff was like, oh, I don't like doing those because then I have to swap my hands each time so that the degree on one doesn't become more than the other, because there's a little bit of difference when one hand's on top of the other. And you're like, like, does that matter so much, but it's like, there's going to be people that are like, no, it has to be absolutely perfect. And maybe for someone like that, who's a bodybuilder or things like that, with symmetry and stuff, it may matter more, but even then, even Dr. Mike was like, okay, like, and he's a bodybuilder too, and so I don't know.
But all of them people call him fat.
But I know he gets so much shit, and I'm like,
It's 'cause he's
what
popular.
the hell are you talking about, dude? Yeah, I guess so. The more popular you get, the more hate you get, right?
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Yeah, and with this training stuff too, like programming and things like that, there is a way to progress and get better. Like, don't get me wrong, there is a science.
Yeah.
But for a majority of people, we talk to average people most of the time, it's just about like getting yourself in the gym, try this out for a little while, then do a new stimulus, and you're okay. And it leads me to this concept of, we talk about live empowered. That's our thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, living empowered is being able to choose something as an individual, but also being able to allow other people to choose things as well. So I would say early on in my training career, it was like, no, you had to lift this way. You have to work out this way. And it wasn't freeing as a trainer. I didn't feel very empowered because I forced people to do a certain way, forced myself to lift a certain way as well. Now that I am really able to choose what I want to do and have different goals, I feel more empowered than I do when I was training a certain way. And I even feel more empowered now that I allow clients to allow me to guide them through a process of different types of stimulus. Oh, you really want to get good at running? Let's do that.
Yeah.
Oh, now your goal is this? Let's do that.
Go for it.
It's that simple.
I think, for me, it does become this kind of idea of how can I just be open? How can I be someone that's willing to try different things, to listen to people differently, to take into account their life and their environment and, why they think a certain way or why they move a certain way. And how do I help them continue in their goals or life or whatever, current state that they're in. We have so many different clients, dude, like, just a wide range, not even just in ages or anything like that, but just people, personalities, everybody that we've met through life, and they're all so different and they all have these different things going on, and teaching them, right, to live in a way that is open to everything, open to everyone, and open to themselves, right, and allowing themselves to kind of go beyond what they might feel comfortable doing, and living empowered, right, and just living in a way that is good, progressive, right, and progressive in a way of like continuing to be better, and just getting people to, I don't know, be successful
in the way they want to be successful.
In the way they want to be successful.
And I'll give you a perfect example. I literally had a conversation this morning, and this person was telling me about, I remember when I could get out of bed one day, and then I could even pick up a milk jug, and now I can pick up 2 milk jugs. I get out of bed and I could do things for myself. That's empowering. Right?
Yeah. Today, my client who was just here, he always comes in and tells me like, dude, the other day I had this moment, where I realized how far I've come in training and in working out with you, and how much of a difference it's made just in my confidence, in the way I present myself, in the way I feel about myself, and just in the way that I can like work. He was telling me a story that at his work, there's a fence that they kind of have to go over sometimes, that there's some equipment behind, and they have to bring a ladder to kind of go over it and come around. And he had brought a ladder, placed it over the side, went over. This was, a year or two ago. And when he came back over, he couldn't pick the ladder back up. It was stuck. He was like, I just wasn't strong enough. I remember thinking to myself, if I try and lift this, I'm going to hurt myself or something. And he was like, it just lived there. We just left it there because nobody could bring it over.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, the other day I was at work and I was like, I'm going to go try and get that ladder. So he was like, I brought another one over, kind of set it up, everything. And he was like, dude, I just grabbed it, picked it straight up, all in one motion, and just set it off from over the fence. He was like, what the hell? Like, it was just so much easier, so much different. And it's like all of these things have made him feel more confident as his job, made him be a better worker, made him be a better like person, all through movement and all through exercise and all through just beyond that, just bettering yourself. Right.
Yeah. I think too many times people think about fitness and health and exercise. I got to look a certain way. To me, the most empowering thing is like freedom of movement. So for me, it's doing a windmill with a barbell in my hand and being able to control that thing. When I know people don't even have the mobility to do a windmill without anything, or be able to twist their body. being able to have that capability of, I can get over this wall. I could climb underneath this thing, or I can raise up and grab a cup over the top and not hurt my shoulder. These things are true freedom as we age.
Yeah.
Truly empowering. And then when it comes to life, like living empowered is, if Nathaniel wants to have a certain relationship, he can have whatever relationship as long as he's not harming people. And choices are what matters. Or, for example, right now, this big thing about like women, they need to go back, the whole tried wife thing. Just, if women want to work and stay at home, or they want to do whatever they want, work part-time, be with a husband, or if a guy wants to be a stay-at-home dad, if he wants to work really hard, if you give people choices and not judge them, I think that's the big thing, is quit judging people and let people live their lives. And that's what's empowering.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you let people live their life, it's empowering. And, what else is empowering? Free healthcare.
That would be nice.
New Mexico. First one to do universal healthcare for children.
We'll see how it turns out. I think if it ends up being successful, it's going to make an example of, the system, right? And how to maybe apply it in different places. And I think it'll also start to bring up the conversation more. Not that it's not already a conversation, but if they can do it successfully and in a way that, they're not waiting, 50 weeks for an appointment or something, people are going to say, well, if it worked in New Mexico, why can't it work here? And
the problem when people say wait 50 weeks in social health care is the fact that people are waiting right now with private insurance and they're spending more money.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I was going to say something, but I think I'll leave it alone.
You can tell me off the pod.
Okay.
I can tell you what I want to say about this.
Go ahead.
I'm a big believer is there should always be a government safety net and a big business competitor.
Okay.
Reason being is there should be universal health care, but if you can afford private insurance because you worked really hard, you should have access.
That's how it is in England.
To and you know what? Most people don't get private insurance.
Yeah.
Because the universal health care is good enough.
It's fine. Yeah.
But if you're wealthy enough, and the ultra wealthy will spend a little bit more money to do this, to get the very best doctors, you're still going to get the best doctors, and things are not like, I'm going to go bankrupt. And then you have more opportunities when you want to jump to different jobs, or you want to create your own job, or if you want to do contract work because you don't have to worry about healthcare.
Yeah.
Because now you're able to actually go to the economy and create something and not worry about, well, what about my health insurance? You could be, well, I have health insurance. If something does happen to me while I go do this, I know I'm taken care of. My family's taken care of.
Like I know.
And it'll allow more creativity and allow people to build businesses a lot better and incentivize people to build businesses.
So interesting. Yeah. Cause it's like, I don't think we connect the dots all the time, where I think you see it and you're just like, no, they're going to mooch off the system or whatever. And it's like, dude, think of all the things that we could do if people weren't worried about it. I know people right now that are in jobs just because they get healthcare. They might hate their job, right? They might hate doing whatever they're doing. They may have zero passion for it.
It would hold jobs more accountable to make the workplace a lot better too.
Yeah, because our boy, right? He calls them the golden handcuffs, right?
Yep.
The benefits, right? Because it's a lot of people will stick around and they can't leave, and the job can get worse and worse and worse. But if the healthcare or the benefits are nice, then you stick around and you get treated like shit and you never do anything, But if that wasn't a thing, then it would incentivize jobs to maybe, bring back pensions or bring back tenure or bring back all those things that don't exist anymore, and then they wonder, well, why don't people want to be here? And it's like, well, because the work environment sucks,
Yeah. It's a golden handcuff.
Golden handcuffs.
Yeah. And I believe Jesus would want to help the poor and sick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Isn't that what
Just
that's what he did? That is a whole thing.
Yeah. So I just want to let you know, besides that, Michelle and RFK have it wrong.
Oh, yeah, they do.
That was a really good video you sent me.
It was a good video. Yeah. I thought it was funny, like the way the video was done. He was like working out while talking about it, but I was like, whatever, it gets people's attention. Great video. I can't remember the name of the guy that
Denny Mantrega, I think.
Oh, yeah, it was him. Yeah. And he was talking about how, both Michelle Obama and RFK, kind of preached this whole idea of, we're going to change the health system. We're going to make people healthier. We're going to ban this, ban that, bring bring people back to Whole Foods and all this stuff, but they both have, well, I guess technically Michelle Obama has failed, and RFK
is gonna fail.
Well,
I could tell this insurance premiums already went up.
Oh yeah,
since he's gone in, didn't do anything for that. Like,
but we don't have red dye 40.
We don't have red dye 40.
But his point at the end of it all was that both people had similar ideas, even from different parties and different perspectives, but they both made the mistake of trusting corporations. Trusting corporations to follow the rules, trusting corporations to not find some sort of loophole, trusting corporations to enforce the things that they're doing. And I think that that's the main failure, is that you're saying all these things, then saying, okay, now go do it. And
because there's no ethics in money.
There's no ethics in money, man. And everything is about money. And at the end of the day, these are businesses, right? They're not trying to feed you healthy food. They're trying to make money.
Now, I always say this: people have an onus on themselves to eat better themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So there is that component as well.
It's not without.
It would help.
Yeah, it would help, right? It would give people the opportunity. It would make it easier, more accessible. But we can't remove the accountability on the individual's part, right? To decide, because there are options, right? There are options out there. And I know that we've all talked, often about, well, what if someone doesn't have a stove, or what if someone doesn't have a microwave or whatever, but there are ways to figure these things out. And it becomes your decision on what you're doing ultimately.
Yeah, but you can also eat out healthier than you think, right? And so I forgot what page it is, but he'll bring up like, here's Chick-fil-A, but this is what people usually order. And you can order this. It's a lot more calories, or a lot less calories, and it has more protein.
Yeah.
And dang, I remember the page off from my head.
My go-to Chick-fil-A order is a grilled chicken sandwich and 12 grilled chicken nuggets. No fries, no nothing, just that.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
With the Coke Zero.
Oh yeah, I feel like I get a lot of food. The grilled chicken there is really good. I kind of like the nuggets more than I like the crispy ones.
It's God's chicken. That's why it's closed on Sunday.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is closed on Sunday. That's the only day I ever want Chick-fil-A too.
You know what I really want today? Dang, it's Fox. Yeah. But he does even for like Whataburger, different things like that.
That's
like
awesome.
You can make a lot of places a lot healthier than you think.
Yeah.
And I use the word healthier, but it's a lot more macro friendly. That's probably the better word, because you're not going to get a lot of like vegetables and fiber in these nutrients. But you can make that possibility of like, I really want this burger and I really want protein all at once, versus like, okay, I don't really want the fries. I just really want the burger.
I've straight up gone to Whataburger and ordered 3 patties and just eaten them like that.
Wild man. No bread, nothing?
Fuck no.
Damn.
Just raw.
Living the life.
Like, don't even unfreeze them.
Don't even unfreeze them. Wow, dude. Wow. So, this topic's near and dear to my heart. Biology.
Yeah, you're a real big biologist.
I'm a big biologist guy. I'm listening to this lady talk about like the pill and estrogen and mating. And, a lot of debates you see on Instagram is all like super simple, like guys should do this and girls. And I think right now we have a boy and girls mentality when it comes to stuff. And I was listening to this lady talk about biology. And I think because science, you're always trying to just prove one thing or whatever. Sure. But everything's so nuanced and complex. So they're talking about mating, right? Why do we have women's cycle, ovulation? That's the time to mate and have kids. But yet the second half, we still mate, but it's more for couple bonding and how to keep a mate. But I'm like, man, that's just like the biology and animal instinct and stuff. Yeah. But the brain and the human contact, it's a lot more complex. Yes, that plays a role, but does this guy make me laugh? Does this woman make me feel happy? Like, there's so many things that go on, and we're just like, it's this simple. Like, if I had a stay-at-home wife, what if she's not happy staying at home, right? And then it makes your home a lot worse. What if she's happy working part-time and then coming? Or what if it makes her happy to work full-time and hire a maid, and she's happier to be with you because of that? Like,
nannies are too expensive.
Oh, go. But I'm just saying, like, it comes back to choice, right?
Yeah.
And we listen to all these biologies or animal evolution. Well, these animals are like this. humans are the most complex animals because our cycles and the way we mate is so different. We can mate in different ways, right? So like there's polyamory, there's monogamous, there's swingers, right? Like they stay together, they couple bond, and then they're still playing around. And it's just like, it's not meant for everybody, but if it's meant for you, then, and it could be meant for you during this 10-year time block.
Yeah.
And then this 10-year time block, you're over here.
I'm over it. Yeah.
But why should I personally judge you for wanting to do that? Like, I don't understand why people like
shouldn't.
It's like me judging Nathaniel, like, no, you need to lift like a bodybuilder. Like, why are you trying to be a strong man or powerlifting? Like,
you're not living empowered. That's not living empowered.
No, not at all. No, I don't know. It's just so complex, and I think we just try to simplify things.
Definitely,
and it's nasty. It's dirty. It's not simple. We're looking at everything in life. All right, let's go to the one study we do have.
Oh, we didn't study.
Ooh. The fat you can see may be damaging your heart, or can't see. Sorry. Even when you exercise, even if you exercise, hidden fat wrapped around your organs, known as visceral fat, now been linked to faster heart aging using AI imaging from more than 21,000 people in the UK. Scientists found that invisible belly fat accelerates stiffening and inflammation of the heart, while fat stored around hips and thighs may actually protect women. So I think we already kind of knew this. It's just now they got imaging and stuff. But it's not even just the fat around the visceral fat, right? So if you look at people's muscles and break up with their muscles, is there fat between their muscle?
Yeah, there's in between fibers.
Yeah, and so the more fat you have in between fibers, the more likely the muscle is not doing its job.
And it's unfortunate because I think this makes a lot of sense. Visceral fat, men tend to store fat more around the organs, right? In the abdomen, things like that. And then men also tend to die from heart attacks more, right? Women tend to store fat more around the hips and thighs. And there's not many organs around there. It's just, how does it change? I think that's one of the main reasons why I almost prefer like circumference measurements over, just a body scan or things like that, because I'm interested in your waist measurement. It's a very accurate indicator of, oops. It's an accurate indicator of your health, your risk of metabolic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, things like that. You can't see it, man. Can't see it.
And I really think that you should be able to do body percent fat, because that does tell you a little bit. The circumference measurement, the hips ratio, right? That'll help you a little bit. Your, circumference around your arms compared to body fat. Like, all these things are tools. Nothing's going to be perfect at the end of the day. But what can you do? Let's say you do get a test and you get this imaging. Well, learn to eat a little bit lower calorie, a lot of protein, maybe a little leaner cuts and leaner things, because you have an excess amount of fat. So that way the fat goes down a little bit, and just make it super simple. I think too many times we read the science and we're like, oh, what do we got to do? It's got to be hard. Like, no, take that first step, take that first step. I think we were talking yesterday about nutrition with this trainer, and they were just like, we were telling them, like, we just trained, like, first, can you just stop drinking like all the sodas that you're drinking? Maybe go from like Coke to Coke Zero, or you go from 5 Cokes to 3 Cokes, and all of a sudden you're losing weight. Like, it doesn't have to be that complex with nutrition.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
There you go.
On certain things, but life is complex.
It's complex, but it's not. But it is, but it's not. And then you go back and forth. But you live empowered, but you don't.
All right, guys, if you like what we're doing, you share us on Apple, Spotify. You can rate reviews. Check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, like, and share. Then, if you're looking for a place to email us, strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com, website Strength Solutions Podcast. Then you can check us out with at the App Store. Strength Solutions Podcast is going to have our app. And then also TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, Strength Solutions Podcast. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
Peace out. Deuces.